So let's look at cholesterol. There are two main types of cholesterol. One's called high-density lipoprotein, LDL. That's not quite right. HDL. That should be a D. L. High-density lipoprotein. High-density lipoprotein is called the good guy, the good cholesterol, because it's the carrier of excess cholesterol back to the liver. Low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, is called the bad cholesterol, but the body doesn't make bad things. LDL has a purpose. It's the repairer and the rebuilder. And as a repairer and a rebuilder, you'll always find it wherever there's a need for rebuilding and repairing. But LDL does something else. LDL delivers cholesterol to the brain because the brain loves cholesterol. The brain is the fattiest organ in the body. The membrane around every cell is 50% fat, except for the brain, it's 70% fat. And the brain loves burning fat as fuel because fat gives more than twice the units of energy that glucose does. We had a midwife attend our program. She was in her 80s and she'd worked in Africa for 20 years. She said at one point the African babies were not developing properly. So they investigated why the babies' brains, their milestones weren't happening, and they discovered that the African women were watering down the powdered milk. And these babies weren't getting enough fat. The fattiest food on the planet is breast milk in the first month. In fact, the food that has the highest cholesterol levels is breast milk in the first month. Second month it's getting a little bit less because that developing brain must have fat. Go into the supermarket, this is a little bit of homework for you, and go to where they have baby formulas and have a look on the baby formulas, and every one of them has an addition of a saturated fat. It'll either be palm oil or coconut oil, because that developing brain must have fat. Let's go to the other end of life. Let's go to the latter years of life. And what's happening in Australia, 1,700 cases of Alzheimer's is being diagnosed every week. Alzheimer's. In fact, there's no record of it in the Bible, our oldest history book. And Alzheimer's was almost not known over 100 years ago. Is it around the time this fat-free theory came out? It's not the only cause, and we're looking at Alzheimer's as another meeting. It's not the only cause of Alzheimer's, but I believe it's a contributing factor. Because the side effect of the statin drugs, and two popular ones are Lipitor, Crestor, and all your statin drugs. How do they work? They inhibit the pathway in the liver that makes cholesterol. That's how they work. But that same pathway that the liver uses to make cholesterol, it uses to make coenzyme Q10. And coenzyme Q10 is our heart protective enzyme. So someone can go on cholesterol-lowering medication with the hope to prevent a heart attack, and they can increase their risk because they've now lost coenzyme Q10. Every drug has a side effect. And the side effects of the statin drugs are Alzheimer's, dementia, muscle wasting, memory loss. They've just added another one, and that is breast cancer. Because as you'll see later in the week when we look at hormones, all our hormones are made from cholesterol. If you haven't got a correct cholesterol level, you're not going to make your sex hormones. Dr. Malcolm Kendrick, who wrote the book, he's a British cardiovascular surgeon who wrote the book, The Great Cholesterol Con, and that's quoted, I've got that in my book, Sustain Me, in the Heart chapter. He said, for the first time, normal levels of a normal vital body substance is being called a disease. That's cholesterol. It's important.